So we did start hearing some concerns about food service, and this is something that I wanted to make sure we got a good understanding about. So I appreciate the team's work on follow-up. And so, please.
Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Jason Mojica, and I am the Executive Director for Nutrition Support Services. I'm here today to share with you the successes that NSS has accomplished since March of 2020 and some of the challenges that we face today and what we're doing to mitigate those. When the pandemic hit and schools closed, our main goal and priority was to provide students and families with access to food. By no small feat, we did that to the tune of over 45 million meals served between March of 2020 and August of 2021. We did this by providing 3-day meal kits consisting of 3 breakfasts and 3 lunch meals at over 540 schools. Included in the kits were printed, easy to follow cooking and reheating instructions. For those families who were not able to pick up meals in person, we offered home delivered meals by just filling out a simple online request form. We continue to offer meal kits through the 2 summer breaks, 2 spring breaks, and 1 winter break. As of this school year, we continue to offer meal kits for students enrolled in Virtual Academy and or for those who have to be quarantined. We jump ahead to the start of this school year and the return to in-person learning and those students who are enrolled in the Virtual Academy. In the first week of school, one of our main food vendors went on strike. And while some schools had to make menu adjustments, we were able to serve reimbursable meals. And one of the reasons why is that we plan ahead of time, and the week before school starts, we do what's called a loading week. And in that week, schools start to receive food in advance of school starting. And so schools had food, and we were able to serve meals to our students the first week, even though there was a strike. As many of you have heard, there has been a nationwide supply chain issue with manufacturers due to labor shortages, distribution challenges, and availability of raw materials. Here at CPS, we have worked very collaboratively with our food service management company and our vendor partners to ensure that we are meeting weekly, sometimes daily, to stay ahead of the supply chain issues that are impacting the nation. I'm happy to say that we have done a really good job to ensure that our schools have had food to serve our students. Even though we've had to make some menu adjustments, again, we've been able to serve reimbursable meals to our students. In addition to that, we've also put processes in place at the school level in the case that a delivery is shorted. And one of those examples is our lunchroom managers. They contact their food service directors, and their food service directors in turn ensure that the school receives the product that was missing or advises on what an acceptable substitution is. Since the beginning of the school year, and despite the aforementioned national challenges that we faced, all of our schools have been able to serve meals that are approved via the USDA and ISB approved requirements. I am humbled and extremely thankful by the many dedicated lunchroom staff who showed up to work every day to ensure our students and families had access to food, while many of them dealt directly with the effects of the pandemic, both personally and professionally. I'd also like to thank our NSS Central Office and vendor partners for all of their tireless efforts to support our staff, our students, and families and communities of CPS and the city of Chicago. Thank you very much.
And board members, I'll just add, so, when I started seeing some challenges, immediately I met with Jason. It was actually our first meeting. I feel bad because some of my first meetings with the staff have been with Clarence or Jason on troubleshooting issues. But Immediately, Jason and the team followed up. We figured out what the issues were. Some of them were isolated to sometimes miscommunication about a school having a testing day and then not telling the staff at the lunchroom that they needed a cold lunch versus, and then there's been substitutions, substitutions where we have to substitute one item for another, literally because of supply issue, but there's still, a proper substitute. And so it's not, I've been impressed how it's managed at scale, but it does mean that we all have isolated issues. And so I just want to just publicly just thank Jason and the team because they've been following up, because for me, they know this. Every time I hear a concern, I don't care if it's 1 out of 500, out of 600 schools, it's still like, it's very personal to me to know like what is happening at that particular school. The team has been very responsive. And so we're going to just continue to do that. We started hearing a little bit about it at the principal meetings, but that's why, again, there's value to these meetings because something will come up and we want to know, is it isolated? Is it systemic? But there are some systemic issues, but our team, I think, is doing a great job trying to offset them.
Any questions or comments? Yes, Member Tabrila.
I really don't actually have a question. Thank you for the explanation and more color to that as well. And I also just wanted to double down on your thanks to you and your team. We talk sometimes about, earlier we were talking about the ways that there are things going on outside of CPS that we can't control, but I feel like the service that you and our lunchroom workers in particular have provided have fed the city, right? And I think that that's something to show the way also that CPS is contributing beyond just the walls of our buildings. And so really grateful to your team and all of the workers on the ground who have made lunches. My babies ate them last year when I was at home working, and I needed that, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Member Truss.
Yeah, just real quick. Yeah, I just want to thank you and your team, especially doing, when you think about this, I guess it's like speak for me in terms of a board member that some things you don't even anticipate, like you read about a strike, happening there, you're like, oh, well, but, it just all these different impacts with the pandemic cause in terms of, whether it be labor shortage or chips and just the impact that I guess people really don't realize that it has. And I just want to also commend, the staff at the different food sites during the spring and summer. I mean, even so far as trying to reach out to, our most vulnerable citizens, like senior citizens, let them know that, you can come here and I was got to give a shout out to my crew at Ella Flag. I call it my crew because they was always out there, engaging, with the community, letting them know that this is there for them, because we understand the challenges and the crises many of our families are going through. So thank you and your staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.